Dear cherished one, listen attentively if you have faith in God. Say Amen. You've been making your way through life with a strength seldom observed. You've smiled even when your heart was burdened. You've stood up every time life pushed you down. And I know deep inside you've questioned if anyone truly acknowledges the effort, the empathy, the weight you bear, and the fatigue sometimes felt while merely keeping afloat. I see it all. I observe you, which is why I'm addressing you now. Not forcefully, not loudly, but peacefully. Many will skim past this, but not you. Because I've been whispering your name subtly within the recesses of your thoughts, waiting for a moment when your heart would pause long enough to hear me once more. This isn't about guilt. This isn't about missed opportunities. This is about what remains within you, eager to flourish. I placed something within you that this world didn't bestow, and it can't snuff it out either. Purpose, passion, resilience, a quiet spark that hasn't faded, merely dimmed. You may feel as though you've been shying away from me, but I've never ceased walking beside you. I'm not displeased. I'm patient. I haven't departed. I've only been waiting for your signal to reconnect. Calm down a bit. Aim not to be flawless, but to be mindful. What I want to tell you is greater than your doubts and more potent than your past. You were never intended to blend in. You were never destined for mediocrity. Inside of you, there's something strong, beautiful, sacred that the world requires. Not a duplicate of someone else's light, but yours. You may have doubted if your voice matters, if your dreams are still valid, if your time has run out. Let me make it crystal clear, it hasn't. Nothing you've gone through is wasted, not your time, not your tears, not even your setbacks. I use everything, I transform everything. Even your quiet moments hold significance because I've been sculpting you in silence for what's to come. I'm not asking you to race. I'm asking you to reconnect with me, with your purpose, with your bravery. You've faced seasons that aim to make you question yourself. You've been surrounded by voices that made you shrink, but that wasn't my plan. I crafted you to rise, not for recognition, but for influence. You possess talents the world hasn't yet encountered. There are people waiting whose lives will be improved because you didn't give up. That's why I created you this way. Persist in the background of your soul, not to nag you about what's absent, but to invite you towards what could be. This message isn't here to impress you. It's here to rouse you to the power, worth, and potential that remains within your grasp. The dream persists. The doors will still open. The moment you transition from surviving into believing, everything around you will start to adapt. Because when your soul ascends, your life rises with it. This isn't a motivational saying. This is reality, and deep down you already understand it. You've just been waiting for permission to believe again. This is your approval from above, from your Creator, from the one who has always stayed by your side. You're not too shattered. You're not too late, you're not lagging behind. You're being molded, you're being polished, and now you're being placed. What I'm about to accomplish in your life isn't happenstance. It's part of the plan. All I ask is that you cease fleeing from yourself. Type 222 to claim it. Cease evading your greatness. Cease diminishing your influence. You don't need to have all the solutions. You merely need to be accessible to me, to your calling, to your inner flame that's prepared to be rekindled. Whisper this softly, just as a secret. For yourself, God, I'm here. I listen to you. I choose to believe again. I choose to progress. I know you still have something wonderful for me, and I'm prepared to live it. There's something I planted within you from the start, before stress, before heartache, before failures. It's not something the world bestowed upon you, so the world holds no power to strip it away. It's called resilience, and I inscribed it in you long before you had to demonstrate it. That's why you keep getting back up even when you don't feel strong. That's why you keep advancing even when the path isn't clear. Because somewhere deep within, your spirit still knows you were never meant to give up. You were made to rise. You may not always feel it. I know you've had periods where your energy waned and hope faded. You've prayed prayers with weary hands and spoken words with a quivering voice. I was there. I heard every word. I caught every tear. And not one moment of your struggle was in vain. You thought you were barely hanging on, but I was doing something far greater. I was sculpting your character. I was refining your spirit. I was readying your potential. Not just so you could survive, but so you could thrive. Might thrive, yet so you could guide, motivate, and influence. You weren't designed for a simple, mute life shrouded by fear and burdened by comparison. You were designed to stride with authority. The kind of quiet self-assurance that doesn't need validation from others because it's rooted in identity, not applause. You've been doubting if your voice matters, if your purpose is beyond reach, if the best part of your tale already passed. Let me assure you plainly, no, it hasn't. The most potent, significant, and captivating chapter of your story is yet to come. And I know you've been patient. I know you've waited, trusted, hoped, and persevered even when the doors remained locked. But listen carefully. Not every closed door was a rejection. Some were redirecting. Some were shielding. Some were me ensuring the moment, the people, and the place were appropriate before I placed you in the right setting. Because I'm concerned about your well-being, not just your impact. I'm not grooming you for a busy life. I'm equipping you to be effective, aligned, steady, and filled with joy, not stress. You possess something in your life that others yearn for. Your narrative, your presence, your wisdom, it bears something sacred. You may not see it yet, still haven't, but I do. That's why I'm reaching out to you higher. That's why I keep putting things on your mind that won't disappear. Thoughts that won't vanish. Visions that won't disappear. That's me reminding you you're still selected, you're still chosen. And there's more for you. Don't let fear take control anymore. You've been modest long enough. You've been silent long enough. You've waited for the right moment long enough. The truth is you won't feel prepared. Type God is good if you love God. You'll feel called. And when I call you, it's not about how much you know, how much you have, or how forceful you are. It's about whether your heart is open. And I know your heart is ready. That's why you're here. That's why this message found you. Not by accident, but by divine timing. You will ascend not in pride, but in purpose. Not for fame, but for influence. Not to pursue anything, but to embody what's already yours. You are not starting from scratch. You're starting with knowledge, with experience, with spiritual depth. You are not a novice in my view. You are a creator of peace, of truth, of healing, of hope. And everything you need for the next phase is already within you. I'm just awakening it now. I'm igniting what life almost extinguished. The flame is returning. The vision is getting clearer. The time isn't just around the corner. The time is here. You aren't lagging behind. You aren't ignored. You aren't unnoticed. You are placed. Heaven recognizes your name. Purpose is coursing through your breath. And I will guide your actions, your words, your steps, one day at a time. You don't need to revolutionize the world in a single day. You merely have to appear and trust that each day you do. You're constructing something everlasting. So here's what I'm requesting from you. Don't gaze down anymore. Don't dim your light to blend in. Don't apologize for being unique. You weren't designed to mimic the surroundings. You were meant to transform them. You possess the necessary skills. You are more than prepared. And you're not walking alone. I'm taking every step with you. Declare this boldly to your spirit. I was not built to shrink. I was made to rise. God, I affirm my calling. I entrust you with my upcoming chapter, and I move forward with confidence. There are chapters of your story you never requested. Things that transpired that you still don't fully comprehend. Episodes you didn't disclose because you felt ashamed. But remember, every cloud has a silver lining. Didn't find the right words for them, just the burden. You've carried hidden sorrow like a rucksack no one else could notice. And somehow through it all, you've still shown up. You've still kept pushing forward. And I want you to hear this clearly today. Nothing you've gone through has been pointless. I'm going to use every bit of it. I know there were times when you wanted to quit. I saw the nights where your faith felt weak. I heard the prayers you barely had the strength to mutter. But I want you to understand that I was with you all along. Not looking on from afar, standing by you in the quiet, holding your spirit steady while your heart was shattered. Every tear watered something holy. Type 1111 if you love God, Jesus. Every setback taught you something profound. Every tough moment became the base for compassion, resilience, and strength that now resides within you. You may not see it yet, but your pain has made you stronger. Not because of the pain itself, but because of what it uncovered. It unveiled your courage. It unveiled your heart. It unveiled the type of person who refuses to let bitterness prevail. The type of person who can walk through fire and emerge softer, not harder, yet stronger. Powerful, not cold. That's uncommon. That's sacred. And that's why I'll utilize you, not despite your past, but because of it. What sought to shatter you holds no final word. I do. And I assert this, you will emerge from this, and what you've endured will uplift others. There are people who will hear your voice and discover healing in it. There are people who will see your wounds and understand they're not alone. There are lives awaiting inspiration merely because you chose not to surrender. That's the type of power I've instilled in you. Not showy, not boisterous, but deep, quiet, and life-affirming. You don't have to be fully restored to aid others. You don't need all the solutions. You merely need to be open to appear as you are. To say, yes, I've faced challenges, but I'm still standing, and if I can endure, so can you. That's service, that's guidance, that's light. You were never destined for perfection. You were destined to be present, and that's what you're doing now. Becoming a guiding light for those who are still navigating through what you've already overcome. I'm going to open paths for you, not solely for chances, but for influence. And as you traverse them, you won't need to feign being someone else. You'll bear your authenticity like a shield. Your narrative will be your power. The very aspects the adversary thought would mute you will transform into the sermon that encourages others to stand tall. Your life will evolve into a living testament that healing is achievable, purpose is tangible, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is squandered when it's yielded to me. You may not have elected the pain, but you can opt how you utilize it. And I'm inviting you now to relinquish it fully. Allow me to sculpt it. Allow me to vocalize through it. Allow me to demonstrate how stunning shattered pieces can become when bestowed upon the restorer. This is the juncture where your past sparks your purpose. This is the turning point, not by coercion but by faith. Whisper this softly yet courageously. God, I hand over what pained me. I hand over what molded me. I trust you to convert it into purpose. I believe my tale is far from finished. It's merely beginning anew. With each step you take in faith, every time you select peace over pressure, and every instant you appear even when it's tough, it matters more than you think. You may feel like you're simply getting by each day, but I want you to see the bigger picture. You're not just surviving, you're sowing something enduring. You are constructing a legacy, not just with your words, but with your life. And a legacy isn't about being famous to many. It's about being cherished by those who were affected by your presence. The way you love others, the way you keep forgiving, the way you motivate when your own spirit is weary, all of that is shaping something eternal. You are causing ripples through your kindness, your actions, your determination. Type 777 if you believe in God, Jesus. There are people who admire you silently. There are hearts that find solace in your company. There are lives becoming lighter because of how you handle yours. That's legacy. The unseen footprint of influence that trails a soul following its purpose. You don't need a stage to make an impact. You don't need to be center stage to shine. What you're building comes from quiet decisions, the choice to persist, the bravery to speak truth with compassion, the way you stay centered when everything else is chaotic. These little things reverberate far beyond this instant. They establish trust. They foster character. They create legacy. I observe how you've been loyal with the little, how you've served when no applause was heard, how you've sown seeds where nothing appeared to bloom, and I want you to understand that every seed counts. Nothing you've given in faith will go unnoticed. I'm documenting this not because I require it, but because I want you to comprehend that your effort is sacred. Your steadfastness is recognized, and what you've constructed in secret will be acknowledged in ways you don't anticipate. Legacy isn't about being celebrated for being flawless. It's about being remembered for being authentic, for loving sincerely, leading humbly, showing up truthfully, and living a life that reflects me. And that's what you're doing. Whether you sense it or not, you are making a difference. You are breaking generational chains. You are altering the ambience around you. You are becoming the motivation for someone else to persevere. Don't undervalue what I can accomplish through a life like yours. Completely surrendered, completely yielding, completely rooted in something greater than this world. You're not just impacting today, you're molding tomorrow. Your faith, even in small quantities, is instilling resilience in those who follow you. Your kindness is establishing a new standard for your family, your circle, and your community. Your future, the way you persist in not giving up. That's creating a path for someone else to walk in tranquility. So keep moving even when it feels sluggish. Keep giving even when it feels insignificant. Keep believing even when it feels silent. You are building something everlasting. You are living with purpose, and your legacy will outlive your moments because you're not just here to exist. You're here to leave a mark. Say this to your soul today. I'm not just living day by day. I'm creating something meaningful. My life is leaving a legacy. One decision, one act of love, one faithful step at a time. You've spent so much of your life doubting yourself, questioning your value, wondering if you're good enough, comparing your journey to others, holding back when you were meant to lead. And through it all, I've been gently whispering again and again, you don't have to hide to be safe. I made you to stand tall. You were never meant to live modestly. I didn't create you to blend in. I didn't mold you to live under the weight of self-doubt. I placed something within you that cannot be measured by physical appearance, popularity, or human judgments. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's not arrogance, it's purpose. It's the calm certainty that emerges from knowing who you are and who belongs to you. And I encourage you to start embodying this once more. Not in the future. Now you've thought long enough about not being ready. Enough time spent waiting for others to acknowledge what I've affirmed in you. Enough time spent doubting your voice when I've already granted you the power to speak. Confidence doesn't start when the crowd agrees. It starts when you believe I'm with you, and that's enough. There is a version of you that walks with calm self-assurance. The version that knows they don't need to hurry or compete. The version that chooses peace over pressure. That version is already within you, not waiting to be discovered, but waiting to be recalled. You don't need to transform into someone new. You need to reconnect with the truth of who I've created you to be. You are chosen. You are prepared. You are called. When you enter a room, you don't need to question if you fit in. You do. When you express your ideas, you don't need to fear criticism. Your voice holds worth. When you take a step forward, you don't need to wait for ideal circumstances. I go ahead of you. I open doors that no one else can. Close up. I will provide you the phrases, the timing, and the peace to advance confidently, not impulsively, but confidently. There's a difference. Confidence isn't about pretending. It's about being genuine, being grounded in who I am and resting in what I've instilled within you. It doesn't come from titles. It doesn't come from status. It comes from my spirit within you, strong, steady, and unshaken by opinion or opposition. And yes, there will still be days when you feel uncertain. That's okay. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It's the decision to keep participating, to speak even if your voice quivers, to act even when your hands tremble, to believe that I positioned you in this moment, then you have everything you need to fulfill it completely. So stop apologizing for your presence. Stop playing small. Stop questioning your worth because of where you've been. I use those very places to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and strength in you. You carry something the world requires. Your story, your essence, your authenticity. And when you walk in harmony with me, nothing and no one can undermine that. Declare this confidently to your heart. I was created deliberately for a purpose. My confidence is not rooted in ego, it's rooted in alignment. In self-identity, I stride with God, thus I'll stride bravely. You've been bearing fear subtly. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of not being adequate. It's made you hesitate, doubt yourself, and keep a distance from things you were destined to do. But I want to remind you today, fear is not your compass. I am. You were crafted to advance with courage, not precision. Even if your voice trembles, even if the path seems unclear, you can still proceed. Fear is loud, but it's not reality. My voice is calmness, my voice is power. And my voice is urging you forward, not in pressure but in assurance. You don't need all the solutions, you just need the initial step. And I will tread the rest with you. My unfailing love conquers fear. I didn't lead you here to abandon you. I'm not asking you to be fearless. I'm asking you to believe you're not alone. Say this aloud: God, I surrender fear, I choose faith. I know you are with me and I will no longer hold back. If you trust in God, type Amen or 444 or 555 or 11. Subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching this God message. May God Jesus will grant you abundance in every aspect of your life. Type 222 if you agree.